as I've been saying, we're trying to get our other social media platforms up and running. We have a new sister who's coming on board to run our national media marketing and PR department. She's going to make sure our social media stuff, as well as all the other things that we need to do as it relates to media, is going to be done in a professional, concise, consistent Black Gold manner. So my name is Tamani Mwandani. I am a contributing member of the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to establish Black communities, both here in America and abroad, that have influence, value, and power. And we want to do that because we want to make sure that our people, melanated people, people of color that live in those communities, own and control the environment and run those communities. That is our ultimate goal. And every single thing that I do, every single thing that we do is an effort to bring more people to this movement to help us make that vision a reality. I have a very unique background in that I have lived in such an environment, a community that was owned and controlled by Black people for over 20 years here in the greater Houston, Texas area. So I know what that's like. I know what that feels like. I know what's possible. I know what's doable when you have a committed group of people that are trying to make something happen. I am the direct revolutionary product of the training of Cardinal Mbayu Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and an indirect product of the teachings of the father of liberation theology, Reverend Albert B. Clegg, or as we called him by his African title and name, Jaramogi Bebe Ajuman. And everything that the Black Gold movement is based on, our foundation is Black Christian nationalism, which comes out of that Black Christian church. We are not a religious organization. We are not a religious movement. However, the foundation upon which this movement is based is most certainly religious. We don't do religion. We do spirituality, but we don't do religion because our people, unfortunately, we allow religion, a lot of us, not all of us, but a large number of us, we allow religion to divide and conquer us, in that we will say, if you don't believe what I believe, if you don't think like I think, if your understanding of whatever is not the same as my understanding of whatever, then I can't get down with you. I can't vibe with you. I can't unify with you. I can't build with you. I can't work with you so we can save the lives of our people. That is unfortunate, and it's sad, and that hurts us as a people. Our situation is so dire. Our situation is so bad that we cannot afford to not work with as many Black people as humanly possible, because we have so much that we're up against, and we're so far behind on pushing back against everything that's been set up to keep us in this condition of second-class citizenship, not having the power we need to dictate and determine our own future as we deem fit and appropriate, and not being able to build something for ourselves moving forward. We need to be like every other group in this country and around the world, and that we need to be pro-Black first. That does not mean you are anti anything else. That simply means that you love yourself and your people first. Again, just like everybody else. So I am here as a contributing member of the Black Gold movement to give you more information about what we're doing, why we are doing it, how we're doing it, in the effort, in the hope that you will join us, because you will see the logic of it, you will see the intelligence of it, you will see the need and importance of it, and as a result of seeing those things, you will seek to join us as we put things in motion to establish communities that are bigger, better, and stronger, that we can own and control. So for the last few weeks, as we've been talking about the Black Gold Nation Survival Summit, I've been starting my live broadcast with a snapshot of what it means to be Black in America. Our reality in 2019 is one such that we have a lot of things that we have to deal with, a lot of things that only we can deal with because no one is coming to save us, and some things that are critical for us to change if we don't want to become a permanent underclass in this country, and if we don't want to really be thrown back into slavery on any level. And because the power we could have, we don't have. If a move was made to do that, there will be very little we can do to stop it, because we don't have power. We're not connected. We're not organized to push back against that kind of threat. So today's live broadcast, the title is "The Black Reality in America in 2019 is Killing Us." Now let's understand the importance of data, information, and intelligence via the production of a SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, a SWOT analysis for every Black community in this country so we can change the trajectory of our reality by 2020. That's the title of today's live broadcast, and I want to get into what it means to be Black in America, and then come back to that title and talk to you about what we're trying to do and why and how. The Black Reality in 2019, what it means to be Black in America. This is a brief snapshot, a brief list of the things that we're up against in America, a brief snapshot of what we are facing and what we need to organize ourselves to fight back against, because these things are very real. It is not a complete or exhaustive list. I would simply make it too long, but it is some critical things that we need to think about and keep in mind as we go about our daily lives. The Black Reality in 2019, the bottom 50%, the bottom 50% of Black households in America are worth less than $1. We got more brothers incarcerated in America than all women are incarcerated worldwide. Our farmers are still struggling to get their products to market, Black farmers that is, because the USDA is still discriminating against them, as they have been for some 50, 60, 70 years. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, via the usage of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, is seeking to replace how natural and organic foods are grown to control the food we consume globally. If they can control the food globally, will they poison and or deny us what we need to survive? If they have the ability to control how food is grown naturally, and they are controlling the growth of that food globally, can they use that? Will they use that as a weapon to poison and or starve us? And they have done that kind of thing in the past. So it's not a reach for us not to be having that conversation and thinking about it now in the present. Food deserts, which is an area defined as having limited access to affordable, nutritious food, exists in almost every predominantly Black and brown community in this country. That's a problem for us. Automation, artificial intelligence, and machine language is replacing millions of jobs. That's a problem for us. The White House has removed 3 million people from the food stamp rolls. And most of us know that there are more white people on food stamps than Black people, but that doesn't mean that a large number of our people is not included in this 3 million, which is a problem for us, because we have to be able to feed our people and take care of our people as much of our people as are willing and ready to be taken care of. Purge activity, that is defined as assassinations, murders, kidnappings, organ and sex trafficking, and crimes committed in Black mask and Black skin by people that are not Black. These activities, these purge activities, are happening in every major Black community in this country. Again, purge activity is happening in every major Black community in this country, and that behavior is defined as assassinations, murders, kidnappings, organ and sex trafficking, and people that are not Black committing crimes with Hollywood-style masks, Hollywood-style gloves that make it look like a Black person is committing these crimes, when in fact it is a person that is non-melanated. This is a new one to the list. Of our children, Black children, that live and exist in America's inner cities, because of the levels of physical, mental, and spiritual violence and trauma that exist in those cities, a major study has shown that some 46.5% of our children in America's cities suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a condition that's normally found in some 11 to 20% of combat veterans returning from combat. So our children, some 46.5% of our children that live in America's inner cities, are experiencing post-traumatic stress syndrome, post-traumatic stress disorder, in levels that are twice as much as people that are coming back from actual combat. Our children are exhibiting symptoms of this combat stress and trauma in America's inner cities, which affects their abilities to learn, their ability to build relationships. It makes them more susceptible to depression and to drug use, and is making it very difficult for them to have a normal childhood moving forward. That is a part of our reality as it relates to what it means to be Black in America. Portland police recently digitally removed tattoos from a brother's face, a Black man's face, to make him look like a suspect. Portland police digitally removed tattoos from a Black man's face to make him look like a suspect, so that he will be identified as a person who committed a crime, and he was eventually punished for that crime that he did not commit. There are over 900 white supremacist organizations in America, all of whom, not so all of whom, some of whom are training for a race war, all of whom we need to prepare ourselves to defend against and possibly to meet in a physical confrontation if something like that were to happen. There have been 255 mass shootings in America since the beginning of this year, and there will be more. The Department of Homeland Security in a recent study has found that state and local law enforcement agencies nationwide have been infiltrated with neo-Nazi members and started secret terrorist cells developed to terrorize Black and Latino residents. The Donald Trump administration under Jeff Sessions has reinstituted the privatizing of federal prisons, which means there's a profit motive. Under President Trump, the FBI's official counterterrorism priorities have included, quote, Black identity extremists, anti-authority extremists, and animal rights environmental extremists. The Donald Trump administration has refused, along with every other president's administration prior to, has refused to label and pursue domestic terrorism by white identity extremists on the same level that they pursue foreign terrorist extremists. Approximately 25.4% of the American population in the United States identify themselves as evangelical Christians. And over 25% of this number, some 20 million people, support Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has proven himself to be a liar, a misogynist, a racist, a bigot, and he is doing things that are anti-groups of color, and he is supported by 20 million plus people. What does that mean for us here in America, those of us that are melanated? There's a problem for us. And that's what it means to be Black in America, to be up against that kind of organized aggression. We have to deal with over 100 conservative think tanks, white people being paid to think about certain things. We got to deal with 100 of them being focused on maintaining white supremacy and white power. We got to deal with a criminal justice system that's always been unjust and unfair, a bail bond system that's always been unfair and unjust, an education system that did not properly educate our parents, you and I, or our children, unless they go to a private school, which most of our children do not. And even if they go to a private school, if they are Black, African American, ADOS, they're still not getting an education that tells them who they are and what they're up against in America. And we got to deal with a school to prison pipeline that is alive and well and highly functional in American society, a multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex that you can buy stock in. We have to deal with redlining, gerrymandering, and gentrification, which is political power being used against us at its finest, as opposed to working for us. That's one reason how we know political power is extremely important. And if anyone tells you that voting isn't important or voting doesn't matter, especially on a local level, they have no idea what they're talking about. Nothing happens to, for, or against a community that does not have political involvement in, or a politician, which is politics, being involved. Over the past decade, we've seen the annual estimates of the number of gangs in this country growing to some 27,000 gangs. That's important for us because we know our people are not only being terrorized by an anti-Black system, not just being terrorized by people that aren't Black, but we're also being terrorized by our own people, because our own people are in some of these gangs that are causing a lot of harm to our own people in our own communities. It's been 5 years since Flint, Michigan has had safe water to drink, bathe in, and use. The majority of Puerto Rico's citizens went without power for over 11 months. I can imagine going without power for 11 hours, let alone 11 months. The Donald Trump administration's Citizenship and Immigration Services Department is seeking to change the language on the Statue of Liberty from "give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free" to language that translates to "give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge." They want people immigrants who are coming to America to make a promise that they will never need government assistance. That's absolutely ridiculous, because who can forecast the future and say that I will never need help? And the whole point of the government is to help the people, because the people control the government, or at least they're supposed to. That's a problem for us. The Donald Trump administration's Department of Justice has proven that cities like Baltimore and Chicago have, quote, engaged in a pattern and practice of conduct that violates the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. The First Amendment deals with the freedom of speech, religion, the press, and the right to assemble and petition your government. The Fourth Amendment deals with protection from unlawful search and seizures, which means the police can't just physically come upon your individual person or in your house and start searching stuff without probable cause. And the 14th Amendment deals with citizenship and equal rights as African Americans after slavery. A court just ruled that DeRay McKesson, and this is proof to the prior statement that things are changing in America, A court just ruled that DeRay McKesson, one of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, has, quote, no First Amendment defense, end quote, in Baton Rouge protests. Apparently, a protester picked up a bottle or a rock or something and threw it at a cop. The cop got injured, and they're saying that DeRay McKesson doesn't have First Amendment rights to address the government because he has issues with the government, and they're trying to charge him in that assault. That is an example of things changing in America, which of course are going to affect us. And lastly, the Donald Trump administration has repealed civil rights protections all across the country in HUD, in Commerce, and many other governmental departments. So that is a brief snapshot of what it means to be Black in America. And that is what we have to deal with. That's what we're up against. And that's what we have to organize and fight against in America. Quick sidebar. I am already at 15 minutes after giving that brief snapshot. So I'm going to apologize to my sister Fundi Karima. And I'm going to try and cut this thing off at 25 minutes as opposed to 15 because I'm just getting into it. So I apologize on behalf of that, but I'm still working on making this thing less than 30 minutes. So I'm going to try and stop at 25. Okay. The title of today's live broadcast, again, is The Black Reality in America in 2019 is Killing Us. Now, let's understand the importance of data, information, and intelligence via the production of a SWOT analysis for every Black community in this country so we can change the trajectory of where we could be headed by 2020. Now, again, Dr. Akua I made a post this morning that was a mistake. I thought Dr. Akua's Survival Summit topic was tonight, but it's actually next Thursday, September 15th. I'm sorry, next Thursday, September 5th at 6:30 p.m. But that is okay because what I was going to talk about is still relevant and important to what she's going to talk about next Thursday. Her area is spiritual learning, spiritual and psychological learning and healing, because we have to understand how we've been conditioned to think that we are less than we actually are. We've been conditioned to think that we can't do, and we have been traumatized over the last 400 years in this country with acts of systematic terror and destruction. So if we know that African people that got off the slave ships were not slaves because they were not slaves, they were simply Africans that got off the slave ship, people that were world travelers, were royalty, kings, queens, astronomers, astrologers, scientists, government officials, medical persons, spiritual persons, soldiers, warriors, community leaders. That's who got off the slave ship. People that used to run the world, people that now can barely run their block, let alone their own communities, their own towns, their own cities. So Dr. Akua's importance, Dr. Akua's department's importance is critical to us being able to move ourselves forward as a unified people, trying to build something for ourselves. It's critical because we have been systematically traumatized and we have been systematically conditioned to be a people that's different from the people that got off the slave ship. The people that used to run the world, although those genes and that bloodline is still within us, we are no longer those persons because of what's been done to us. The importance of getting back to what we're supposed to be, getting back to who we're supposed to be, cannot happen without a systematic, purposeful, methodical process to get us back to being what we are. If we know that a process has changed us from being the people that we were, a people that used to run the planet, to now people that can barely run their block, then there has to be a purposeful, intentional, methodical, strategic, intelligent process to get us back to being the people that we are. Without a national department that's going to deal with our spiritual and psychological trauma, without a national department that's going to deal with our need to be healed spiritually and psychologically, it doesn't matter what solution is pushed forward. If that solution never comes to the fore, it's not going to last. If it's about the total and complete righteous liberation and salvation of Black people, not just to make money, not just to appease another group, not just to get us to vote, but if it's about the sincere liberation and salvation of Black people, then it's going to fail if that department doesn't exist. And what we're saying in this movement, what we're saying in the Black Gold Nation movement, is that we not only must have that department, But that department must be moving in every location where we are so that we can identify the people who understand the importance of data, information, and intelligence gathering, so that we can bring that back to a national movement, so that the movement can deliver national and international support and resources to make that information, data, and intelligence analysis worthwhile and functional. Let me explain that. No war has ever been won without information, data, and intelligence. Someone has to go out on the battlefield, on the landscape, behind enemy lines, and assess what's going on as it relates to the people who are participating in the war. Someone has to go out on the battlefield and see what's going on and bring that information back. Someone has to go out behind enemy lines, find out what's going on, and bring that information back. We are born into a war. African Americans, the American descendants of slaves, African descendants of slaves, African descendants of slavery, melanated people in this country, carbonated, if you prefer that, in this country, Black people in this country. We are born into a war that we did not start. We are surrounded on every front. Most of our people have to be educated to the fact that we're in a war, and we're 200 plus years behind on preparing for this war. We will never win if we don't have people that understand the importance of data, analysis, and capture, and how we're going to use that to change the landscape, change what's happening on the battlefield, so that we can win some of these battles, so that we can ultimately win this war. We need people that understand the importance of that and who are ready, willing, and able to be trained in that understanding and importance. What we want to do in this movement is train our Black Gold ambassadors. These are our people on the ground around the country and around the world who want to be a part of changing the power dynamic in and around their communities. We want to give you the equipment that you need so that we can produce a SWOT analysis, SWOT, a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats assessment as it relates to where you live in your community, in your city, for the Black people there. We have to know where we are strong in your community. We have to know where we are weak in your community. We have to know about the opportunities that exist in your community. And we absolutely must know the threats as they relate to Black people in your community. As we are constantly gathering that information, it needs to be sent to a local, regional, and a national department that's going to critically assess that data and that information to determine what is the best way we need to move as it relates to these strengths, these weaknesses, these opportunities, and these threats. We absolutely must understand what's going on as it relates to our people moving forward in every community where we have at least 100 Black people living. So we got to have teams of Black people that are ready, willing, and able to immerse themselves in a process to be reconditioned. We have to have teams of people that understand the importance of immersing themselves in a process of being trained on how to become a group, being trained on how to push back against the forced aggression and conditioning of our minds not to be a people, and the people that are ready to be trained on how to produce a SWOT analysis as it relates to moving our people forward. Without a critical understanding and a willingness to immerse yourselves in a reconditioning process, and without being trained on how to produce a SWOT analysis, we can't win. Absolutely must have people who are ready, willing, and able to be a part of a process so they can be reconditioned and trained so we can use that process to move ourselves forward. We have in this movement 19 departments. 18 are local, are national here in the US, and 1 is international. We have those departments because we understand our communities, our people are being attacked on multiple levels. Every national department plus the international department is designed to push back against those threats that's assaulting and terrorizing our people on every level. In every city, in every town, we need groups of Black people that are committed to being different, committed to learning things that are different, committed to applying what they've learned so that we can win in all the departments that we have, which are all the areas that we're being destroyed. If we don't have a committed group of black people who are ready to take that data, that SWOT analysis, and apply that to how we're going to win, we will never win in agriculture. If we don't have people that are willing to take in that data via the production of a SWOT analysis and apply that to economics, we will never win. If we don't have people that are willing to take that data via the SWOT analysis and apply that to politics, international business, local business, foreign business, foreign policy, domestic business and sustainability, spiritual healing and well-being, cultural affairs and diplomacy, physical security, spiritual and mental security, information technology. We have to have people that are being led by people who know what they're doing, who are ready, willing, and able to go get the data, go get the information so that we can analyze it and determine what's happening to our people, against our people, everywhere in this country where our people live, so that we can intelligently provide a solution, not just in words, but also with deeds, because we can send resources so that every single city and or town where we live, we can win. If we don't do that, we're not going to win. If we don't stop operating in silos, just in our one area that whereby we might be strong and where we might have passion, we're not going to win. We cannot win only focusing on economics. We cannot win only focusing on education. We cannot win only focusing on politics. We have to focus on all of it simultaneously with an understanding of the ultimate goal, because if we don't have the same goal in mind, if we don't have the same vision in mind, then we'll be operating in the same arena, but going several different directions. One of the reasons we're always behind the 8 ball is because we're not connected and organized on a unified agreement and approach to whatever. Because we don't unify ourselves on an agreement and approach to whatever, we're scattered. Our enemies, the predators that exist in and around our communities, they know that. So they use that against our people, which hurts us moving forward. We need leadership. I'm so tired of hearing black people say we don't need leaders. And I understand where they're coming from, but we need leadership. Not the kind of leadership we've had in the past that's going to continue to push us to do the same things we've been doing for the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years, marching, boycotting, demanding justice, blah, blah, blah. We don't need that kind of leadership. But we do need leadership that understands how we're being attacked, where we are deficient, and they have the expertise to push back against all of that. In this movement, we have that leadership. In this movement, we are constantly trying to bring that leadership to this movement so they can give black people what they need to move forward. We have examples of black creativity in this movement, black exceptionalism in this movement, black genius in this movement. Our leadership is ready, willing, and able to surround our children with every single thing they have to give to ensure that our children can win. There's a brother that I've been talking about, raving about, who's absolutely fantastic in the area of what he's doing in international business in Africa. His name is Peter Brown, African name Ptah, P-T-A-H. I am calling him Ptah Imhotep because if you know anything about African history, it's the first moment. And what this brother is doing as it relates to how he set things up in Africa is absolutely phenomenal. So he might say Ptah Brown, but I'm calling our brother Ptah Imhotep. And we have several Ptah Imhoteps in this thing. Brother Craig Lee, who doesn't have an African name, I don't think. We're going to give him one. I'm going to call Brother Craig Lee, Brother Craig Imhotep, because he's a multi-genius as it relates to how he's going to lay this political thing out, which is which he has concrete solutions to how we can build political power, which we absolutely need in this country. We're not going to win if we don't have the kind of leadership that we need to move ourselves forward. We're not going to win if we're not willing to immerse ourselves in a reconditioning process to get us back on the right track. We're not going to win if we don't have black people that are ready, willing, and able to go get the data and the information and the intelligence, bring that back to a movement that can critically analyze that data, information, and intelligence so that we can implement a plan from an intelligent perspective to give to our people so that we can move and so that we can win. That is what the Black Gold Nation is all about. That's what the Black Gold Nation movement is all about. We want to identify leaders, identify solutions, and put ourselves in a position to support that leadership, put ourselves in a position to support those solutions, and put ourselves in a position to win. Because no one is coming to save Black people. Ain't nobody coming to save Black people. But that's okay, because everything Black people need to save ourselves, we already have. There is nothing we do not need that we don't already have. We simply need to find the right Black person who's already doing those things, or who has an understanding of those things, who is ready, willing, and able to teach Black people those things so that we can move forward and win. That is what we do. That is our business in this movement, and that's what we're committed to doing. Finding the leadership, finding the solutions, supporting the leadership, supporting the solutions, getting the people ready to implement the solutions per that leadership, and moving as rapidly as we can. We have about 7 to 9 years to create independent, self-sufficient, protected Black communities in this country that we can own and control and have them linked with one another. We don't have time to waste time talking about Popeye's chicken sandwich. We don't have time to waste time talking about fantasy football to an extreme level. We don't have time to waste time talking about a rap battle between two rappers. We don't have time to talk about R. Kelly's pedophilia or a comment that Kanye West made. And I'm not saying that 100% of your life has to be committed to Black people. It would be nice. That's unrealistic. But I am saying that we have to, all of us have to reassess and reorganize our daily personal time rituals so that we can give more to Black people, because Black people need us to do that. And most certainly Black children need us to do that. I am at the 31 minute mark. I'm going to cut this thing short because I am sincerely trying to keep it short. So I made a mistake this morning in my initial post of the next Survival Summit topic. That does not happen tonight. It happens next Thursday. So the next Survival Summit topic is information technology. That's going to be done by Brother Don Johnson. I'll be posting his information tomorrow morning and sharing that with everybody so you can be a part. And Dr. Okua's piece, which is spiritual and psychological learning and healing, that's next Thursday. So if you want more information about the Black Gold Movement, please go to our main website, blackgoldnation.com, click on About, read the mission. If the mission does not make sense to you, click on the same website, Why We Must Build, watch some videos, educate yourself. If you don't get it after that, it's okay. God bless you. We're not mad at you. We're not going to call you any names. We're not going to disrespect you. But this is not the movement for you. It's after watching them videos, if you still don't get it, this is not the movement for you. We ain't mad at you. If you watch the videos and you get it, or if you read our mission on the main website and you get it, you need to see the presentation. Go to our events website, Black Gold Wakanda Rising, click on presentations, RSVP for a Gathering of the Tribes introductory presentation so you can learn more about what we're doing in the Black Gold Movement. You need to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and most importantly, how you can be a part of it. We need people who are ready, willing, and able to change the power dynamic on the ground for our people in this country, in Africa, and in the diaspora, so that we can make this thing happen to put ourselves in a position so that we can win. All of which is possible. If I didn't believe it was possible, I would not be here doing what I'm doing. If you've already seen the presentation, but you want to know more about the Survival Summit, on the same events website, Black Gold Wakanda Rising, click on Survival Summit and read the information that's there. If you want to be a part of any of the community meeting webinars, simply go to the presentation page, find the one you're interested in, and RSVP for presentation. They're only for a webinar. They're only $4 per, and we're charging $4 because we need to start funding these national departments so they can start doing. So they can start doing what we need them to do. That's why we're charging the $4. If you want to support us, talking as it relates to the $4, speaking of the $4, if you want to support us now, today, moving forward, on the same events website, Black Gold Wakanda Rising, click on support, scroll down to that subscribe button, and give you $4. This is a $4 monthly membership fee that we're trying to get as many people as possible to give, because we believe, like the movie Black Panther, if enough Black people give a small amount of money in large enough numbers, we'll have money that we need to move ourselves forward. And we most certainly need money. If I have sent you a request to donate $10 to our the development of our political department, please respond to that. If you have not received that, but you want to give to that, on the same event's website, Black-Wakanda Rising, click on support, scroll down, and below that subscribe button, there's a donate button. Click it and give your $10. We're about to get involved in politics in a major way in this country, and our target implementation date for everything that we're doing is 2020. After major elections in 2020, we want to be in a position of power in multiple cities in this country. Under the tutelage, leadership, guidance, and direction of Brother Craig Lee, aka Brother Craig Brother Craig Imhotep, we're going to implement a plan to put ourselves in a position to win politically. Brother Craig is simply one person, one Black professional, one Black genius in his area that we have found to help move ourselves forward. Brother Peter Brown is another one in international business. Brother Peter Patah Imhotep. Brother Don Johnson, information technology, is yet another genius in his arena. Brother Robert Harding over agriculture, another genius in his arena. Brother retired Master Sergeant Craig Williams, multi-genius in his arena. That's all we have is Black people who have exhibited an enhanced level of understanding and expertise as it relates to what they do. And they are part of this organization because they want to see Black people win. But they cannot do it on their own. Having a good idea or the knowledge and understanding as to how to push back is simply that. Idea, expertise, and solutions. But you need someone to implement what you know needs to be done and to move us forward. So the leadership can't do it on their own. The people who are on the ground around the country who want to see us win, who want to be a part of a winning solution or a winning movement, cannot do it on their own because they need the leadership to teach, guide, and train them. So the leadership that we have right now, the leadership that's coming on board right now, they cannot do it without us. I can't do it without us. You can't do it without us because you need what we have, because what we have is operating on multiple layers whereby we know we're being attacked, and we're not operating from a vantage point of today. We're not playing checkers in this movement. We're playing chess. So we are operating not 10, not 20, not 50, but for 100 years down the road. And the things we're doing right now today are to position our children's children to take ownership and control. This is one reason, I'm going to say this and I'm going to close it out. This is one reason that I know this thing is divinely inspired and being led by a higher power. I have met people who have had the exact same thoughts that I have had and have been working on the exact same solutions in different areas, and they are now a part of this movement. Some of the things that our leadership says to one another when they meet is absolutely phenomenal because they've never met. But the vibe for our liberation and salvation, the energy is out there. God, call it Jesus, call it the ancestors, call it Mother Nature. I don't care what you call it. It's out there. It exists. Our people are feeling it, are picking up on it, and they're looking for answers. The Black Gold movement and the Black Gold Nation movement wants to provide those answers. If you have some of those answers, we want you to help us provide those answers that you have so we can marry them with the answers that we have so that we can be better as a people, bigger, better, and stronger. So with that, it's 38 minutes, 39 minutes. 15 was the intro and giving the snapshot. The next 15 was me talking about the live broadcast. So I'm going to say I'm technically 9 minutes over. So Funi Karima, I'm working on it. Be patient. I'll get there, I promise. But this is better than an hour. So with that, thank you guys for being part of the live broadcast. Please, please, please share this with 10, 15, 20 people. Like us on social media. Subscribe. Click like, click follow, whatever you're supposed to do to follow somebody on social media. And help us make this thing happen because as I've been saying, ain't nobody coming to save Black people, so we got to save ourselves. Remember two things. I don't have time to answer any questions. because I'm really trying to get this done because I don't want to last too long. So always remember two things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And lastly, absolutely nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. With that, thank you guys very much for being a part of the live broadcast. Please share this. Help us bring more people on board, because if we don't have enough people that are involved, we can't implement all the things that we're trying to implement, because we need our people to support us and to help us implement these things. The solutions, the strategies, the methodical approaches, the intelligence, all this stuff won't matter if we don't have Black people that are involved in helping us make it matter. And we want you, and as many Black people as you know, to be a part of helping us make this thing happen. So thank you guys very much. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.